you are probably spending 2 to 5 times more on laundry products than you need to. And the craziest part is that many of those expensive stain removers, oxygen boosters, whitening powders, odor eliminators, and color-safe bleaches are built around the exact same active ingredient, one plain white powder, one molecule, selling in bulk for about $2 per pound, while billion-dollar brands keep repackaging it into different bottles with different labels and charging you like each one is some breakthrough piece of cleaning technology. And once you see this, you cannot unsee it. Because the laundry industry was never making money by giving you one powerful solution. It makes money by convincing you that one problem requires 5 different products. I remember the first time I flipped over a box of oxygen cleaner and read the ingredient panel closely. And honestly, it felt like discovering the same actor wearing 5 different disguises in the same movie. The names changed. The packaging changed. The marketing changed. But the chemistry underneath barely changed at all. And the deeper you go into how this industry actually works, the more you realize the biggest thing being cleaned in America might not be laundry. It might be consumer perception. The reason almost nobody notices this is because companies know most people never read ingredient labels past the front slogan. You see words like Oxy Power, Advanced Whitening, Deep Odor Defense, or color-safe technology, and your brain automatically assumes you're looking at completely different formulas designed for completely different problems. But if you flip those containers over and actually look at the fine print hiding on the back panel, you start seeing the same chemical name repeating over and over again, sodium percarbonate. I remember lining up 3 different laundry products on my counter the first time I noticed it. One claimed to remove stains, one promised brighter whites, one advertised odor elimination for gym clothes, different packaging, different colors, different price tags, and yet the same active ingredient kept appearing like a fingerprint the industry hoped nobody would recognize. That's when you realize the real product being sold was never just cleaning performance. It was psychological separation, one bottle for smells, one bottle for stains, one bottle for whitening, one bottle for colors, because the moment you understand that a single oxygen-based compound can handle multiple jobs at once, the entire laundry aisle starts looking less like innovation and more like controlled confusion. But sodium percarbonate itself wasn't new. In fact, the chemistry behind it is older than most modern countries. Long before laundry aisles were flooded with neon packaging and trademarked cleaning slogans, people were already discovering the same chemistry through pure survival. In ancient Egypt, workers scraped mineral salts from dry lake beds and used them to whiten linen under brutal desert sunlight. Centuries later, Roman laundries filled massive stone basins with alkaline washing solutions strong enough to brighten entire loads of fabric by hand. Across medieval Europe, wood ash soaked in hot water created primitive lye mixtures that washerwomen used to strip stains from clothing long before modern detergent companies even existed. Then on the other side of the world, traditional Japanese households combined ash cleaning with seasonal sun bleaching, unknowingly triggering the same oxygen-based reactions hidden inside modern oxygen cleaners today. Different civilizations, different languages, different centuries. And yet they kept arriving at the same conclusion over and over again. Certain alkaline mineral compounds combined with oxygen could pull stains apart without destroying the fabric itself. That's the part I find fascinating, because it means this was never some revolutionary breakthrough invented by a billion-dollar corporation. It was ancient chemistry that kept being rediscovered, repackaged, and renamed across thousands of years of human history. What those civilizations discovered through trial and error, modern chemistry would eventually explain molecule by molecule. Here's where the entire illusion starts to collapse. Because stains are not random marks sitting on fabric. At the molecular level, they are highly organized color structures called chromophores, chains of chemical bonds specifically arranged to absorb and reflect visible light. That deep red wine stain on a white shirt, the dark brown coffee ring at the bottom of a mug towel, the yellow sweat marks trapped inside a collar. All of them are broadcasting color because their molecular structure is still intact. And this is where sodium percarbonate turns into something far more interesting than a laundry additive. The moment you dissolve it in warm water, the compound breaks apart and begins releasing hydrogen peroxide into an alkaline environment, creating an aggressive oxidizing reaction that starts hunting those chromophore structures at the microscopic level. I want you to picture this like a demolition crew entering a building and cutting the steel support beams one by one. The oxygen compounds attack the double bonds, holding the stain's color structure together, snapping them apart molecule by molecule until the chromophore literally loses the ability to reflect color. The stain does not get covered, it does not get masked. Its molecular identity gets dismantled. And once you understand that, you start realizing why these products work so well on wine, coffee, blood, tomato sauce, grass, and organic stains in general. In side-by-side stain tests, you can actually watch this reaction happening in real time. One fabric soaked in a $15 branded oxygen cleaner, another soaked in bulk sodium percarbonate mixed into warm water, same bubbling oxygen reaction, same stain breakdown, sometimes nearly identical results. And the craziest part is that most people assume bleach destroys everything equally. But oxygen-based oxidation works differently. Chlorine bleach attacks aggressively and indiscriminately, which is why it can damage colored fabrics so easily. But sodium percarbonate targets the unstable organic stain structures while leaving many modern synthetic fabric dyes largely intact. That's why the industry calls it color-safe bleach. Even though the real magic isn't the branding term, it's the chemistry underneath it. And once you understand that reaction, the entire laundry aisle starts looking very different. Once you recognize the chemistry, something strange starts happening. You stop seeing separate products and start seeing the same molecule wearing different costumes. The odor eliminator under your sink suddenly looks suspiciously similar to the oxygen booster beside it. The stain remover spray starts sounding a lot like the whitening powder. And this is the moment I want you to do something most companies quietly hope you never do. Pause this video and check your labels. Seriously. Walk into your laundry room, flip over the bottles, and look for oxygen-based compounds like sodium percarbonate or hydrogen peroxide derivatives hiding in the ingredient panel. Because once you start noticing the pattern, it becomes almost impossible to ignore. And the deeper I went into this, the more I realized the laundry aisle wasn't even the full story. Similar oxygen cleaning chemistry starts appearing in dishwasher powders, carpet cleaning systems, textile plant processing, commercial linen facilities, and even hospital sanitation environments where fabrics contaminated with blood, bodily fluids, and bacteria have to be cleaned at industrial scale every single day. That's when the entire thing stops feeling like a simple consumer product discussion and starts feeling more like a masterclass in packaging psychology. One chemistry, multiple specialized problems, multiple branded solutions, multiple price points. Because fragmentation is profitable, if one versatile compound can handle whitening, stain removal, deodorizing, and oxygen cleaning at the same time, then separating those jobs into different product categories becomes a marketing strategy, not a scientific necessity. And once you see that pattern, you begin realizing how much of modern consumer culture depends on keeping people from connecting simple systems, hiding in plain sight. But marketing claims are easy. What matters is whether the chemistry survives real-world testing. At this point, the obvious question becomes, does the cheap bulk powder actually perform the same way once real stains hit real fabric? Because marketing language is one thing, but visible results are something else entirely. So imagine a simple split-screen test. On one side, a white cotton towel soaked with red wine, dark coffee, grass stain, and dried blood, treated with a premium branded oxygen cleaner selling for nearly $15 a container. On the other side, The same fabric stains treated with warm water and bulk sodium percarbonate, costing a fraction of the price. Within minutes, you start seeing the same oxygen reaction bubbling through both fabrics. The wine stains begin fading first. Then the coffee discoloration starts breaking apart around the edges. And eventually, the blood stains lose that dark, oxidized color that normally locks itself deep into fabric fibers. And this is where the entire marketing illusion starts becoming difficult to defend, because visually, the chemistry behaves almost identically. The expensive product may smell different. It may pour differently. It may come in brighter packaging with words like advanced, deep clean, or professional strength printed across the front. But the underlying oxygen-based stain destruction happening at the molecular level is often extremely similar. That doesn't mean every branded product is useless. Some contain stabilizers, surfactants, or convenience additives that improve storage or handling, but it does mean the dramatic price gap starts looking a lot less like revolutionary science and a lot more like branding economics. But real chemistry always comes with trade-offs. And this is the part most viral videos conveniently leave out. Here's the part that almost nobody in the miracle cleaning hacks world wants to admit: sodium percarbonate is powerful. But it is not magic. And honestly, understanding where it fails is just as important as understanding where it works. Oxygen-based oxidation is extremely effective against organic color compounds like wine, coffee, sweat, our blood, and food stains. But greasy stains are a completely different problem. Motor oil, cooking grease, heavy body oils, and petroleum-based residues don't rely on chromophore structures the same way organic stains do, which means oxidation alone struggles to break them apart efficiently. That's where surfactants inside traditional detergents actually matter. Because they're designed to surround oil molecules and lift them away from fabric fibers, temperature matters too. Sodium percarbonate works best in warm or hot water, usually around 104 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Because colder water slows the oxygen reaction dramatically, delicate fabrics like wool, silk, and some older dyes can also be damaged by prolonged exposure, especially at high concentrations. And if you dump the powder directly onto wet fabric without dissolving it first, concentrated oxidation spots can weaken fibers over time. Real chemistry always comes with limitations, trade-offs, and conditions. Marketing rarely tells you that, and once you understand where oxidation fails, you finally understand what detergents were actually designed to do. This is the part where the chemistry stops being theory and starts becoming practical. Because textile plants, commercial laundries, and hospital linen systems were not using oxygen-based compounds for decades because they were trendy. They used them because the process was efficient, scalable, fabric safe, and brutally effective against organic staining at industrial volume. And once you understand the basic system, the entire thing becomes surprisingly simple. Most bulk sodium percarbonate powders work best when the purity stays above 90%, which is why cheap filler-heavy oxygen cleaners often underperform compared to raw bulk material. For a standard stain soak, warm water matters more than most people realize. Around 120 degrees Fahrenheit is usually enough to activate the oxygen release aggressively without degrading the compound too quickly. A tablespoon or two dissolved completely into warm water creates the same oxygen-rich environment commercial systems rely on to break apart stains before the wash cycle even begins. For normal laundry loads, small amounts added directly into the drum alongside detergent can boost whitening and odor removal without forcing you into separate specialty products for every minor problem. Even storage matters. Moisture slowly weakens the compound over time, which is why industrial facilities keep it sealed in airtight containers away from humidity whenever possible. And once you start seeing the process through the eyes of chemistry, instead of branding, something shifts psychologically. You stop feeling dependent on products and start understanding systems, and at that point, the real business model becomes impossible to ignore Once you step back and connect all the pieces, the pattern becomes difficult to ignore. The same oxygen cleaning chemistry keeps appearing behind whitening powders, stain removers, odor eliminators, color-safe bleach, carpet cleaners, and even commercial fabric systems used at industrial scale. Different labels, different branding, different promises. But over and over again, you keep running into the same core reaction hidden underneath the packaging. And I think that's the moment a lot of people quietly realize they were never really shopping for chemistry in the first place. They were shopping for categories. One product for smells, one product for colors, one product for stains, one product for whites, one product for gym clothes, one product for pet odors. Because the more fragmented the problems become, the easier it becomes to justify an entire shelf full of solutions. And once you start recognizing those repeated ingredient names hiding in tiny print on the back panels, and you begin noticing something uncomfortable, you've been surrounded by the same chemistry this entire time. Not because there was some giant secret hidden in a locked vault, but because modern marketing works best when simple systems feel complicated. That's what makes this so fascinating to me. The ingredient itself was never invisible. The connection was, and the moment consumers start connecting labels instead of trusting packaging, entire product categories begin looking very different. And that's why the most expensive part of most cleaning products was never the chemistry itself. At the end of all this, the strangest part is how ordinary everything suddenly looks. The same laundry room, the same shelf, the same brightly colored bottles lined up under the sink exactly where they've always been. But now you see something different hiding underneath them. A plain white powder. A repeated ingredient name. The same oxygen chemistry quietly moving from product to product while the packaging around it keeps changing. And maybe that's the real lesson buried inside all of this. Most industries do not need consumers to stay ignorant forever. They just need people to stay distracted long enough to stop connecting the patterns sitting right in front of them. Because once you start looking past slogans, et fragrance, and branding language, you begin realizing how many specialized products are built on the exact same foundation. And once you start reading ingredient labels instead of marketing slogans, entire industries begin to look different. If you've ever picked up two expensive products, flipped them over, and realized they were basically selling you the same chemistry in different packaging, drop it in the comments. I genuinely think once you train yourself to read ingredient labels instead of front-facing marketing claims, you start noticing this pattern everywhere. Cleaning products, supplements, skincare, even parts of the food industry. And honestly, that's why conversations like this matter. Not because every cheap product is secretly better, but because people who understand systems stop getting manipulated by labels alone. Once you see the pattern, you can't really unsee it anymore.